welcome back to another episode of Cooking Chronicles. Today we will be talking all about the sides. And yeah, we're so excited to be returning with our 6th podcast episode. So, of course, as always, what was everyone's favorite meal or recipe they have done this past week? Can be cooked, brought, or made by someone else.
Mine was my Easter dinner. I guess we did like a dinner lunch.
Oh, I totally forgot Easter even happened.
That's why I was like, why can I not think of anything? And I was like, I know I had something. And it's kind of fitting because since we're talking about sides, the side dishes were so good this year. So my sister-in-law was cooking and I helped her, and she is almost went to culinary school. So she's like really, really good at cooking. I love going over to my brother's house because I just feed myself the whole time. But we did like roasted carrots, which was such a simple recipe. It was so good. They like red onions and thyme. I think it was literally carrots, red onions, thyme, like olive oil and salt, pepper. It was so good. And then she makes these garlic green beans. Oh, they're so good. And she puts a little bit of lemon juice on them, just a little. Oh, it's so good. And then she makes Boursin cheese. You know, the little like Boursin cheese. She puts that in her mashed potatoes. And I literally so she makes them at every like holiday. That's her side that she brings when we like all bring a dish. It was so good. Oh, I still think.
So what I'm gathering here is that your brother married well.
Oh, he did so good. And he did an amazing job. I love Kimberly so much. She's great. She also cooks really well.
Yeah, so Mary can cook. Moral of the story.
Yeah, she's so good.
I love that. Yum, that all sounds so good.
That made me laugh because I was like, yeah, like usually you're like, yeah, you want to marry a wife that can cook well. And my mom's joke is always whenever I make something decently good, she'll be like, all right, you're ready to get married. And I was just thinking about the fajita chicken that I made, and like when I made that and it wasn't cooked at first, I was like, I looked at my boyfriend and I was like, this poor man is probably like, he's like, she's
what
just
am I
getting
myself
myself
into? What am I getting
her
myself?
best?
Better make money because we're gonna be eating out all the time.
You're like, I don't want to cook. I can't do. So be like, I don't want you to cook either. Let's go. That's funny. It'll get better. I'm hoping. Anyways, my favorite meal from this past week. This is funny. It wasn't really necessarily like fancy or good. It was just something that I had been craving for the longest time. But do you guys know what is it called? Let me look it up. I think it's called like Shin Ramen or something. It was packaged ramen.
The black and red ramen.
Red one, yes, yeah. This one.
No, that's like the best ramen. That's some of the best instant ramen.
Okay, so you know I'm Hispanic, and Shin Ramen, I made that, right? But me and my boyfriend do this thing where like we'll make that, but then we'll squeeze lime into it, and it is so
I bet that's
freaking good. Next time you try like cut a lime in half and just like squeeze it.
Like the whole lime?
Mix it. Yeah, a whole lime. Put it in there.
So I like instant ramen. I like the like really cheap stuff because I'm like, it doesn't really taste like ramen. It's its own category. But like Shin Ramen, if I want like fairly good ramen, but I don't want to have to like go out and get it or like make it from scratch. So yeah, it's a super long process.
Yeah,
Shin Ramen's really good.
And it was so exciting too because I really like at that time I was like, man, I don't know what to eat. Like I was at that point where I was like a little too close to bedtime to eat, and then I was like, I don't know what to eat. I don't really have anything to make. I don't want to cook nothing. I want something quick, but I didn't think I had any more of those. And sure enough, I looked at my pantry and there was one there, and I was like,
yes. The beef bone broth was really yummy.
Yeah, I don't know which one I ate, but I just know it was good. And yeah, do you squeeze the lime in there? Elite. It is elite.
Adding lime to stuff usually elevates it.
Yeah, lime, lemon, any citrus kind of just makes it.
Yeah, for sure. What about you guys?
I think
Last week I had coming in. Like last week I had like a family get together, so everyone made a bunch of food. They had sticky rice, fried chicken, papaya salad, meat skewers, and ribs, and like a big pot of soup. I forgot what soup it was, because my aunt, she drank a little bit too much. She fell onto the soup. It fell all over the floor. I didn't even get to eat it.
Oh, dang.
That's terrible.
That's so funny.
That's so sad. Have you guys ever watched The Office? With
course.
Kevin's chili.
Kevin's chili, and he like
I haven't
drops
watched
the
The
whole
Office,
thing.
but I know that scene.
Yeah.
That's literally what I was thinking about as soon as she
That's
said
so
that.
sad. I was so confused as to where you were going with it. You're like, she drank a little too much. I was like, what is that? Like,
Where's like forget
Just
you make
exposing
it
her.
wrong or
yeah, I was like, did she put salt instead of
Right.
sugar or something?
That's so funny.
She fell into the
Was
soup.
it hot when
That's
she fell
terrible.
on
No,
it?
it was cold.
Okay, good.
That's
So
good.
I would have been like, yeah, then she just burned a little.
That's so funny.
She sobered up real fast.
Yeah,
She
probably.
did it.
Oh
She,
my
because right before that,
She did it!
She did it. It got
She was
worse. Matter of
worse.
fact, she threw. Oh my gosh! Wait, finish that story.
she
Family
went
functions,
home
man.
to go clean herself, and she came back with 2 more bottles.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. But she lived like right across the house, so.
Wait, did she
didn't
drive?
No, no, she just walked.
Yeah, that's what I was
I
worried
was like,
about.
oh my gosh, she
She's
did
falling
what?
into the soup.
driving
and
like,
she
came
cannot-
That's
Hey,
crazy.
sometimes when you're in the zone. I'm kidding. Alright, but
I condone that.
Oh man. So for me, it was also my Easter meal.
okay.
We had, gosh, ham, mac and cheese, which is what I made. Green beans, this Jello dessert, I think it was a dessert. I mean, I ate it with the meal, but we also had some rolls. We had, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but it was good. But I made the mac and cheese specifically, and it was based on Nuke's recipe, and it was honestly easier than I thought, and it was really good. It was, so like I made it like an hour before people came over, and honestly it wasn't that good by the time they got there because it was cooled down, which is a big learning tip, but everybody was like trying to be nice, like, oh, it's still so good. I was like,
No,
no,
listen.
y'all should have had it
Right.
Where-
right
when it
out
came
of
out
the
the oven,
pot,
Popped out of
but
the, yeah.
I literally know exactly what you're talking about because for the past 2 years, in my family, I've been making mac and cheese for Thanksgiving, and let me tell you, my mac and cheese is like insane. Like it's actually really good. That's the one thing like I can make really good, and I have literally the same exact problem
Yeah.
that like I'll make it, but I can never get the timing freaking right because I'll always make it because you know everybody's cooking in the kitchen, like
Right.
everybody's trying to make something. It's chaotic, so you got to find the window that you're able to make your stuff and then
Right.
like hope that it just stays good enough. And I just can't find that perfect window because
Yeah.
even this past year I made my mac and cheese and that thing was like cold by the time everybody got it.
Yeah.
And my mom tried to like reheat it, but it just like
yeah, I was trying to put it in the oven.
Yeah,
but
and it
there was
just-
other stuff in the oven.
Yeah,
and
so it
needed
just
to be
didn't
heated
heat
in a
up like
different-
all the way, and it wasn't like because it was like super cheesy to the point like you were supposed to pull it and it would like pull cheese.
Right, yeah.
But if you didn't we didn't warm it up enough for it to do
Yeah.
that, so it was
So,
kind of
like,
more
congealed.
clumpy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was just
and I was
nasty at
so
the end,
upset
yeah.
because I was like, bro, coming fresh out the oven, that mac and cheese
Yeah.
was so good.
Right.
But like if it's cold, it's like it just doesn't.
Mhm.
So you know what you guys need is, and this is something that would be like when we're adults and have our dream
Warming
kitchen kind of
drawer?
thing, is a warming drawer.
I love
My parents have a warming
Most
drawer.
ovens have it, and people just don't know. It's where they keep. You know how there's like the oven, and then there's like a little metal drawer underneath where like some people put pans in there. That's where it usually. But that's also a warming drawer. So when your oven's on, like that drawer gets like pretty hot, and you can put stuff in there to keep it
Yeah.
there.
But my parents' house has a warming drawer, and it's like
There's also a
under the
separate one.
microwave, and
Yeah.
it's a separate thing, and it has like a little dial. Like when you pull the drawer out, there's like a little panel, and there's a dial, and you can like turn it on so it keeps things warm. Obviously, it doesn't always work. Like Thanksgiving, we run out of room or whatever,
Right.
but like it's very helpful, and it is on my list for my
For my dream kitchen.
It's a warming drawer. But my favorite dish this past week, I was originally going to say mac and cheese, but I won't try and trump your mac and cheese
No,
right
you're
now.
good.
I'll talk about that later when we get into talking about sides. So for mine's also for Easter dinner, or well, not dinner. We do brunch in my house,
I love that.
which is a lot of fun. Mimosas are brought out, but there was no ants falling over, unfortunately. Anyway, so my mom makes this thing called strata, and it's a breakfast casserole. We typically make it on Christmas Eve for breakfast. So it's honestly basically the same breakfast as like Christmas, which was great. I love that. It's one of my favorite meals of the year. But she made it differently. So usually she uses croutons for the bread in it, but she used a croissant loaf. So it's like a loaf of bread, but it's like croissant bread. It is so good, you guys. I have a
Is
little
it
bit.
like sweet or savory or what?
Yes. Both.
I don't like sweet.
Everything.
Yes.
I get confused.
No, it's so
I get
good.
so stressed out with sweets.
But,
Like
like-
hot and honey.
Yeah, no.
But like with
like-
it being in the like breakfast casserole, like it like you don't really taste the sweet. It's more savory because there's sausage and egg and cheese, and it's basically sausage, egg, cheese, and like a bread all thrown in a breakfast dish.
That sounds good.
And it's so good. So she like breaks up the little pieces of bread, throws it in the dish, and then I think throws egg and cheese in there, and then tops it off with sausage and then cheese
That
again.
sounds
I
good.
think. I never actually made it.
I would eat
but-
that with a croissant because it's like a croissant sandwich.
Yeah, but it's you're not eating it with a croissant.
But
The
it's like,
croissant bread's
but like
in
it's
it.
in it. But
Yeah.
like that's what it's making me think of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like so much better. It's so good.
I would eat that.
I have a little bit left over that I'm eating for breakfast. I'm really excited. Tomorrow, obviously, it's like 5 o'clock, but
That sounds good.
yeah.
So I have a funny story that you reminded me of about the soup falling over. So I was friends with my boyfriend before we got together. This was like a long time ago. We actually used to work together. Is how we met. Like a sound or something. I don't know. Anyways, so we were like in a friend group or whatever, and for his birthday, he had invited us all over for like a carne asada. So like they were making meat and stuff, grilling meat. And his mom makes insane food, period. But for some reason, like anything she makes is just heavenly to me. And one of the things she makes that I love now is bean tacos. Like there's nothing special to it. It's just beans and tacos. But let me tell you, it's so good. But this was like my first time at his house when I came for his birthday carne asada, and I had never like had bean tacos, let alone like very traditional Mexican cooking. And so like we were like all on a picnic table, and there was like trays at the end of the table, and I was sitting towards the end of the table. I wasn't drinking or anything, but it was just funny because they had the bean tacos right there, and I'm just clumsy, and I hadn't even tried any, and I kid you not, I like moved my arm one wrong way and dropped the whole bean taco tray. Mind you, this is my first time at his house. I mean, at the time we weren't like dating or anything. Like we were strictly just friends and stuff. So like,
It's still.
Oh, that is terrible.
but like I was like, she is gonna like dislike me. She's gonna think I'm so disrespectful. And mind you, like they're Mexican, so I'm like, she's gonna think like I'm just the worst person ever. Like I don't know. Like oh my gosh. And I was like, and like our other friends are looking at me and they're like, oh my gosh, you just dropped the bean taco tray. I was like, help me pick it up, please.
No, I got the bean taco tray.
and then my boyfriend just comes over and he's like, hey, he's like, oh my gosh, like it's okay, don't worry about it. And he just like picks it up and like, yeah.
Did the tacos go everywhere? Or like were they saved?
There was like some that stayed in the tray, and then there were some that like fell on the floor. So the ones that were on the floor just kind of had to get thrown out, and then the ones that were on the tray, they were like there. But it was like not enough for everybody. So I ended up. So that night I didn't end up trying them. Actually, it's funny like that. Now they're one of my favorite things because I tried it after we started dating.
Yeah.
But like before that, I hadn't tried it. I was like,
That's a funny story.
I was like, y'all
That's
can
so sweet
eat
though.
tacos.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it was funny.
That's
It was
cute.
so bad. Yeah, I was sure she was like gonna dislike me, but she loves me now.
Future mother-in-law. Anyways,
All right, so into our topic for the day. What are y'all's favorite side dishes, like top tier, up there?
I need warmer potatoes.
Mm.
Listen, I love potatoes. Mashed
Potatoes, all the carbs. Give me the
Scallop
carbs.
Potatoes.
Oh, scallop potatoes.
Roast potatoes.
Mashed
Huge
potatoes.
Smashed potatoes. Ooh.
Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
French fries.
True. Loaded French fries.
Oh, yeah.
Tater tots. Loaded tater tots.
Garlic parm potatoes.
Truffle.
Truffles. I actually don't like truffles. Because I don't like the mushroom taste.
Oh, the mushroom taste doesn't bother me. It's the texture.
It's the taste for me. The mushrooms and texture.
I don't know truffle. Are you talking like actual like truffle?
No, like when I get truffle
Flavor of
fries,
truffles. I don't like
I
the
love
flavor of
truffle fries.
I love truffle fries.
I will pay the extra $1.
For the truffle sauce. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Cheese curds is number
Ooh,
one, and it will
okay.
always
Squeaky
be number
cheese
one.
curds?
Any type.
Do you like,
love squeaky cheese.
wait, like fried?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Fried. Zaxby's has okay ones.
I don't know
Cookout's
Cookout.
amazing. Cookout is really good.
Have you had fresh ones? Where they're squeaky?
Yes, at
that
a Green
was
Bay
fun.
game. Yes, I got
Did
some
you go to
there.
Lambeau Field?
I went few years ago, yes. It was the coldest I've
I'm
ever
so
been.
jealous.
And
Sorry.
I was sitting there with like 4 jackets on and a blanket.
But you can
just
eat
like
the fresh
dying.
cheese.
Oh, we went to specifically get those, yeah. They were
Wisconsin.
they hit
So,
differently.
It's
Oh
like
my
fresh
goodness.
cheese curds, and when they're really, really fresh, when you bite into them, the sound of like your teeth
Yeah.
like hitting it squeaks.
Mhm.
So they're called like the squeakier they are, the fresher they are.
Yeah.
And we had one that literally they had like made them that morning, and I bit them, and I was like, it's so good. Squeaky cheese curds. You have your
Yeah.
cheese curds in your beer.
I actually tried cheese curds for the first time recently, not here, but I was in. I have a cousin who lives in Minnesota, so I went to Minnesota, and I didn't know those were a thing. Period. But we were like skiing, and they were like, "Oh, have you ever tried cheese curds?" And I was like, "What? What's that?" And they're like, "Oh, it's like in Wisconsin, but we have them here a lot, whatever.
Yeah.
Like try some." So I tried some. They were good. They were really good.
Mhm.
And then also Minnesota has this. Sorry, this is so off topic, but like Minnesota has this other thing called Juicy Juicy. Have you guys ever heard of Juicy Juicy?
I think so.
It is literally a cheese-filled hamburger. Like they make the burger in the wall, and then they put like a block of cheese inside, and then wrap meat around it.
Oh, weird.
I've seen that, but I didn't know it was called that.
It's really good.
That sounds
I
really
bet it is good.
It's
It's
like you
better
take a
than just
bite,
a
and the
normal
cheese is like
cheeseburger?
literally melting out. The cheese is literally
It's
oozing
like
out of the
molten
burger.
lava.
It's, yeah,
It's like molten lava cake,
Oh.
but cheese.
Man,
You
I
can
love
put like
small lava
queso.
cakes.
like a block of queso.
Like I had a buffalo chicken one. So it was like pepper jack cheese on the inside, and then
Yum.
chicken and like buffalo on the outside.
Hmm.
That was really good. Yeah.
Napoleon, what's your favorite side?
I would say like any type of vegetables, like broccoli.
Oh, I do love sweet.
I love asparagus. That's the one.
Yeah.
Except it makes my pee smell weird. But it's a.
Yeah.
It does. That's the thing. Look it up. Look it up. It's normal.
It is, but like that just threw me off that you said that so like
We
casually.
appreciate your authenticity.
We appreciate your transparency. Not for her cooking skills, but for her honesty about pee.
What's your favorite vegetable?
Yeah.
I can't pick that.
It's a, like.
Oh.
Do you have like specific like
steamed or, like,
flavor?
roasted.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
have specific?
mostly steamed. Like I can't eat like a protein without vegetables. It just feels too heavy for me.
That's so
Okay.
true.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I feel like main dishes are always the star of the show,
Yeah.
but can be lacking if not paired with like the perfect side.
Right. I
So
think.
go ahead.
So I want to share my recipe now.
Mhm.
Okay.
Since we're bringing up favorite sides. I don't know if I have a favorite side. I am a big sides gal. My family literally has nights, like when I go over there, that like we don't have dinner, we just have appetizers.
Yeah.
So
Like we have an
Yeah, we
appetizer.
I mean, I like sides better than the main meal sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and so like that's what we'll do. We'll have loaded French fries, and we'll have a spinach artichoke dip, and we'll have like
just like
wings
finger foods.
or yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But I do love me some mac and cheese,
Mhm.
maybe because my nickname sometimes is Mac, so sometimes people call me mac and cheese. Anyway, last night I made mac and cheese, and it is the best boxed mac and cheese I've ever had.
What
it was
was it?
Kraft,
Okay.
but it was the way I made it, y'all. Okay.
The best boxed mac and cheese.
Yeah, I'm not gonna claim it's the
That's
best
just
mac and cheese I've ever had, but it was so good. Okay, so first of all, it was Spiral because Spiral does in fact taste better, and the way I made it was I took a pan, not a pot, a pan, and I dumped the noodles in there, and I covered the noodles with water, and I put it on like medium-high heat until the water like kind of evaporated and like cooked up and got soaked up with the noodles and stuff.
Okay.
And so once there was like just a tiny little bit of water left, you want to make sure they're not burning. So you have to like stir it, whatever. I added in the butter and then the packet of cheese stuff that comes in there, like the powdery crap. And I stirred it up real good. These were the creamiest, best mac and cheese. Like, cause it was so good. So good. I didn't even add milk. And it was so good. So that's my piece about my mac and cheese. That
I was
I've been thinking
expecting some like super elaborate. Like,
It's just
I made
crap.
the chili sauce from scratch. I made a roux. I made the pasta from
Yeah.
scratch.
You know how people get like the bulldog ramen and will be like mixing the sauce with like milk and like
Yeah.
throwing cheese in there and like putting tteokbokki on the side and doing like a whole like.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you were about to like.
No, I just made my Kraft mac and cheese different than normal, and it was so good. And
Was
I
it
have a little
good
bit
because you were
left over.
hungry, or was it
Yeah, like, what was
actually
the
just good?
situation here?
And that's the thing that's like such a letdown, and it's happened to me so many times, especially like if there's like my family like typically will go to like the same beach every year, and if like there's a meal I try, and then I'm so excited to go back for it, but it's just because I had to wait 2 hours because lines when you go to the beach are forever.
Right.
Anyway, that's the biggest letdown in life is when you go back to try something and it's not as
not as
good.
good.
The first
Yeah.
time, yeah.
Because you're not hungry the same way. I did work a 9-hour shift right before, but I had a Jimmy John's Little John
Okay.
a few hours earlier, so I wasn't that hungry. But I was like, I do still need to eat something.
Yeah.
So it was just genuinely that good.
Okay. We believe.
Respect.
We believe.
But yeah,
I'm kidding.
maybe that's what we can do for a live event.
Like that. You
Well, I
can make
love
a
mac and
special
cheese.
Kraft mac and cheese. Is it worth the hype?
Yes.
We will find out. Yeah, so let's talk about like how to elevate your meals with side dishes, because I feel like side dishes can make a big difference. Like if you're eating a regular steak and you're eating it with like steak fries, that may not feel as fancy or nice as like steak with like smashed potatoes and asparagus, you know? So yeah, we're gonna be going over some side dishes that will help make. We're referencing a blog by Delish, and the blog title is called 101 Side Dishes That Will Make Weeknight Dinners 1,000 Times Better. I don't know if it'll be 1,000 times better, but I guess we'll find out.
This is making me so hungry.
No, because it looks so good, right?
I'm looking at them like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
One of the first ones, of course, is smashed potatoes. Also, I feel like the way you season them depends on what kind of main dish you're using. Like, if you're kind of going for a more, what is the word? Like, when you go for like steak kind of dinner, like with garlic flavoring, what is that? It's not like
Hearty,
Italian flavoring,
like-
but that's more like
I don't know. I just think of like very
like
cold
garlicky.
Gardy.
Gosh, guys. I don't know.
I
It's not like
know what you're
spicy.
saying, but I want to explain it.
herbaceous.
It's not like pasta, but it's like Italian almost kind of flavorings, like with the garlic and Parmesan and stuff like that. Like if you're going for that kind of flavor with like butter and stuff and like steak, rosemary and stuff like that, like then you would go with like more garlic, Parmesan, mashed potato probably flavored. But if you were making it with like chicken or something, you'd probably just make it like less seasoned, maybe more like normal. But also it just depends on personal preference, I feel like. But yeah, always consider what flavor your main dish is kind of going for, and then base your seasoning for your side dish on it.
Wait,
Homemade
Brussels
mac and
sprouts?
cheese.
Brussels sprouts. I'm obsessed with Brussels sprouts. I know some people don't like them. They smell like farts. I think they're so yummy. I like them raw. I like them roasted. It's really the only ways that I eat them, raw and roasted. But my favorite thing, and with really any vegetable, if I want a side and I want a veggie and I don't want to spend a lot of time, I will just cut them, prepare them however I need to, and then I toss them in olive oil, salt, pepper, and throw some garlic salt or like fresh garlic, minced garlic in there. And then if it's like potatoes, I always put Parmesan cheese and butter on them as well to make them extra crispy. And I just love it. Like I put roasted Brussels sprouts first with like you put some bacon in there, and then you drizzle with balsamic vinaigrette.
Oh yeah. I like making like steamed Brussels sprouts and like tossing it in a sauce or something. I feel like that's always good. Mac and cheese, I feel like, is a staple in all sides. Thanksgiving dinner and stuff, you know, like.
And now you guys know an easy way to make your mac and cheese.
The Kraft
Don't
mac and
The
have
best way,
milk.
apparently.
The best.
I mean, if you like are in
That's
a
why
rush,
you don't
that's
have
all you
milk,
got.
'cause I
That's what I'm
never
saying.
have milk.
I don't use milk, and I was like, what do I do? And then I saw on TikTok, and I said, bet.
Say that.
This blog literally says this tried and true recipe aces all of their requirements and more with flying colors. So put that blue box back on the shelf.
Fair enough. No, I am not saying it's the best mac and cheese. I know that, but I'm just saying. After a 9-hour shift, I don't
Sometimes
want
you
to
gotta
do
do what you gotta do.
anything. I need something.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
That'll do.
Yeah. Carrots, I feel like are extremely underrated side.
Yes, that was the one that I was gonna bring up.
Yeah, I feel like I have not like explored that until recently. When I was doing the HelloFresh meals, there were like a lot of carrots on the side, and I was like, what the hell am I gonna do with carrots?
And carrots are so good for you. Like, so good for you. Raw carrots are really great for hormone balancing, fun fact.
Great source of vitamin E.
Yeah.
If you eat too much, you will start turning orange. That didn't
Oh,
happen
I
to me.
heard about that.
My friend ate a whole bag of little carrots and her hand started turning orange. She
That's-
looked like she was wild.
That
Is that serious? I used to love eating carrots when I was younger.
Oh yeah.
Roasted carrots, like when they're like sweet,
Oh, they're
so good.
yummy.
So like the recipe they have on this website for the garlic parmesan roasted carrots sounds heavenly. And something that like carrots, this made me think of something that I like to do with like my meals is when it comes to like having sides and stuff is I kind of like make it not a side. I love to do like bowls. It's like one of my favorite recipes is all like start with like a little bit of rice and then I put salmon and then I make these crunchy chickpeas and I throw them in there and then I'll do like roasted sweet potatoes. So then I just like have all my sides in the bowl with it. And that's how I like to do it. But that's one of my favorite recipes also.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'm a big fan of like soul food sides.
Yeah.
Corn casserole.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Funeral potatoes,
I've never tried that actually.
they're
Good.
so
What is that?
good.
Yeah, I don't
It's
even
like,
know what
oh my
that
I
is.
feel like it's a very white person dish.
Really?
I've never heard of
Okay,
it, so.
So
know
I
about
was
that.
dating this guy and I went on his family's beach trip and his brother-in-law made funeral potatoes. He is one of the best cooks I have ever met. I love Justin. Hey dude, hope you're doing well.
Falling out of the
Her ex watching this like,
His brother-in-law.
The in-law.
Anyway, Justin makes really, really great food. And he made steaks because it was like we like alternated who made dinner each night, and so like it was his night to cook dinner for everybody. And he made steaks and funeral potatoes and something else I feel like, but it was the best steak I've ever had I think, because he just I don't know what he did, but it was so good. It also could have been I was just that hungry, but the funeral potatoes, man, I know for sure those were good either way. They were literally to die for. Oh my gosh, I don't think he made them like quite like this recipe.
With the cornflakes on top.
Yeah, but
They're just like
good.
cheesy, creamy,
What is it?
comforting.
Yes.
Like, they're just good.
is it like
Yeah,
hash browns
what's
with
different
cornflakes
from
on
it?
top? I'm looking at this picture.
I feel like he had hash browns in his.
Hash browns are usually normal, but I feel like you can switch out. It just has to be crunchy on top. You can probably do like breadcrumbs.
Why is it called funeral potato? I have so many
Most
questions.
people eat them like it's a very like comforting meal. So like, and it's a casserole. So like, when you bring somebody like after like a family member's passed away, and you bring them like casseroles. Like this was a like classic one.
Bacon fried cabbage.
I love cabbage. Also love cabbage.
Yeah.
Also, I was looking at the cannellini beans with herb sauce. I saw a TikTok video. I've been wanting to try it. And this girl made beans, like a bean thing, but they were super soft. And then she put poached eggs, and like she would put it on toast and kind of like spread out the beans. And it was like had a bunch of garlic and herbs, and it just looked so yummy and so hearty. And beans are really good for you. True heart. Okay, too far. So.
Ooh, perfect roasted sweet potatoes.
I love sweet potatoes. Oh my goodness.
I actually have not gotten to sweet potatoes until very recently, and I'm so glad I did because they're so good.
They're
Do
so
you like
good.
them sweet? You guys like them sweet, like in a casserole with marshmallow, or do you like them savory?
No, savory.
I'm a savory girl.
I typically like them savory, but I will say, okay, my two sweet ways I like them. Moxie Burger, if you've ever been, there's one in Kennesaw, there's another one in Roswell, whatever. They have sweet potato fries, and their sauce is kind of sweet, but it's so good. It's one of my favorite things about going there. And then something that my mom did growing up, and like I'll still do this now sometimes because like it's cheap, college budget.
Yeah.
You literally get a sweet potato, stab it with a fork all over, throw it in the microwave. I put a little X with a knife on it, and then you can and then I take 2 hot mitts when it's done. I don't remember how long I can get it for. TBD, Google it probably. And then I smush it and it opens up because of that little X. I throw a big slab of butter in there with some cinnamon. It's just so good, and that's like sweet.
I always do. We would do that, but I would do. My mom would do like butter and brown sugar, or butter and cinnamon. I always had salt, butter, and like garlic powder, and that was it. Because I'm just a very savory gal.
Yeah.
But sweet potato fries, I almost always choose them over regular fries if it's an option.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I love sweet potatoes.
Same.
They're so good for you.
Parmesan roasted green beans.
Yum.
There's so many ways to make green beans, but
Oh,
Parmesan
yeah.
roasted sounds like it's up there.
I
It's
don't
up
like
there.
green bean casserole though, like in Thanksgiving and stuff.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
of the cream
It
of
doesn't
mushroom.
taste as good as
It's
just
the cream of
regular.
mushroom soup.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I've never tried
These are some pretty good sides. Make me really hungry.
make me really hungry.
Making me really hungry. Leaves. I don't know.
So I'm thinking about my
Your freaking mac
my
and cheese.
mac and cheese.
She's fantasizing about that.
She's tears in her eyes.
Cucumber. It is that time. It is that time. Cucumber, tomato, and onion salad. If you're like me and don't like onions, cucumber and tomato salad.
It's a great topping.
Great topping, great on the side. I feel like also it's really good to have a side that will like neutralize your main dish. Like if you're having a very like powerful, bold taste in your main dish, it's kind of good to have something that's a bit more like calmer on the side to kind of like even the palate out. I don't know like what the scientific, I guess,
No, that makes sense though.
the chef culinary
Yeah.
thing would be, but I'm assuming like it's really good to have a neutral side when you have a bold flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But still have make it very flavorful because you know you want your whole thing to like have you guys when you guys eat food and you gotta like get like a little bit of the main. I don't know if you guys do this, but I'm a big like I gotta get a little bit of everything in one bite to get like the perfect bite. So like I'll get some of the main for like protein. I'll get some of the side on it. Like I'll get like if I'm eating chicken, I'll get some mashed potatoes and then like get a little piece of like asparagus on there or something, and I'll like put it all in one bite and like eat it like that.
The only thing I do is
I'm
I
the exact opposite.
I
To be
stick my
honest.
steak and my
I eat
mashed
everything.
potatoes sometimes. But
When I go to Zaxby's, I will eat every single fry before I even touch the chicken. Like,
I eat
cannot.
things individually.
I do.
Yeah.
Typically. Sometimes I'll mix it up.
I'm sitting here like
I mean, with that salmon bowl thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I put
Unless it's
feta in
already
there,
mixed
too.
together.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, like when you guys get Chipotle or Kava, do you like mix it all
Left
together?
Yeah, mix it together. Yeah.
I'm right to left. My bowls.
No.
And
I'm talking about like when I sit down at like Thanksgiving dinner, I don't usually mix my foods.
Yeah, right.
Like I'll eat like
It
the green bean
depends.
casserole and then the
And then
turkey
the next day, yeah.
like I might mix like the gravy with some like turkey and mashed potatoes, but that's normal.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Or
it
stuffing.
depends on the things, but I do like prefer to like mix my flavors together. Whatever.
Yeah.
Goodman is yelling in there. I don't know what he
Yeah.
got going on.
So you guys gonna try any of these new side recipes?
Kimchi. Oh, I love
I love
kimchi as a side dish. I'm so sorry. Yeah, kimchi. I just have to throw that in. Kimchi's so good.
There's one about squash. And I want to get better at like roasting squashes. I love butternut squash. Butternut squash soup.
Yum.
But just getting better, and it's a good way to eat veggies. Sides are a good way to get your veggies in.
I know. I think that's my goal. Is I want to start eating more veggies, like carrots. Guys, I still need to try that carrot recipe from the raw
Oh, the raw
carrots.
carrot ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I think it's a better idea to kind of like, instead of finding one recipe for like one specific thing, it's like easy to be like, hey, this is the protein I want to make for recipe, and then get like a side dish recipe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Get like a recipe for each individual plant that you want to make. And then of course, yeah, if you're trying to incorporate like a certain food, you're like, hey, I really need to get like more like squash in or potatoes, whatever, like this is how I'm gonna make them or whatever. Blah, blah, blah.
Moral of the story: sides are a great way to spice up your meals.
Yeah.
Very sure.
Yep, to add on to your already great. Dre.
Yep.
That's the word.
That's the word. All right. Does anybody else have anything else to add?
Nope.
Man, you're ready to get
She's thinking about that mac and cheese. She has places to be.
Is there anything? Nope.
Literally confused. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to this episode. We hope that you enjoyed it and found it as useful as we did. And tune into our podcast next week. Make sure to keep up with our socials. And thanks for tuning in. Bye.